Hey, what's going on? I'm the gay relationist, and yesterday we talked about zero-discordant relationships, where you have someone who is negative and who is someone who is positive in a gay relationship, and they are just making it work. And I mean, of course, we want all relationships to work as possible. And we talked about fear, and we talked about the true fear of being in a relationship such as that, where you're scared of, where the one who is negative is scared about becoming positive, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's about caution, and it's about, of course, using your logical mind and using that intelligence that God gave you, and learning about this disease, knowing how it's transmitted, just doing everything in your power to overcome that fear. But we're human. And as humans, we're going to have that within us, and just to know that you're not alone, because if the person who is positive that loves you is going to want the same thing for you that you want for yourself, which is not to become positive. So you got to understand, you're not the only one that works for that endeavor, okay? So now we're going to talk about Sero-Sorting. And Sero-Sorting is the active looking of someone for someone else that is positive. So someone who is positive is actively looking for someone else that is positive for sexual and regular relationship. Now, this is a social conscious method that started some years ago. I say it's been in play for about close to 10 years. It really hasn't come to the forefront, but now it's really making a big splash, because that is people who are positive. That is their way of contributing back to the community. They want to uplift the community by stopping the spread of the disease, by staying with someone who is positive. Now, and I want to try to say this correctly. There is a fear there, and I think it all started. Okay, before we get into that, let's go into a little bit about why Sero-Sorting was started. And yes, there is a social conscious method, but really, let's be real. You have people who, when they find they're positive, there are some fears. There's fear of isolation, that no one wants to be with you because you're positive. There's some fears that you won't find love. There's some fears that you'll be discriminated against. There's fear, between our community and the mainstream American community. There are so many fears, and some of those fears are founded. That's why some people don't really talk about their status or tell their status as they should, because there's fear that people will discriminate against you, and there are people that will do that. So you got to be careful in that aspect. But if you're going to be careful in that aspect, in that way, you want to have more conscious looking out for the community as a whole. So and also, Sero-Sorting is a way for a group to come together. HIV is its own subculture. So you want people who are going to stay with their own in that culture, and they look for solace and they look for support from their own within their culture. So it only makes sense that they will look for relationships in their culture as well, and staying with their own, because only someone who is positive will know truly the feeling of what a positive person will go through, and that's just the main thing. So when you're actively looking for someone who is HIV positive, so now here's a couple of things to remember. Just because you look for someone who is positive, as we should know, I shouldn't say we all, but as we should know, there are some risks with. Oh Lord, I keep going back, because this is going back to the sexual part of it. Some people who think that they are positive and they look for someone else who is positive, that means they don't have to practice in safer sex practices like using condoms, because they already feel like, hey, I already got the disease, so it's no big deal. But it can be a big deal, because you can retransmit another strain of the HIV virus to your partner, which could be a more resistant strain than they may already have. Who knows? That's a possibility. So I don't want you to think that just because you do that, or you look for someone who is also positive, that you have to forego any safer sex practices. That, again, now, if you want to do that, that is two consenting adults making a conscious decision. That's the only thing that matters in your relationship. You got to do what you feel like is best in your relationship. So more power to you if that's what you want to do. But if you want to look out for each other in a safer sex practice way, then using condoms would be helpful in that fashion. So now jumping into the relationship part, I find that pretty cool that, you know, you got people that want to look after the whole community by actively looking for someone who's actually positive. They don't want to carry the disease on to the negative portion of the generation and the population. It's just something that you have to do in your own field. And remember that it was created out of a sense of, the whole culture was created out of a sense of togetherness and support. So obviously there's a sense of fear that went along with it. I'm kind of going back over because I kind of retraced my steps. But I just want to be sure that you understand that there are risks, health risks, that could come from from going into the mindset that, okay, I'm positive, I find someone else positive, I can do whatever I want. That's not what it really means. It was all created out of a social conscious method to look after the community more than the welfare of one. Now, remember, the same thing applies. There's going to be health problems. There's going to be things that's going to happen. Don't let the HIV take over your relationship. You're in a relationship with a person, not with someone, not with HIV. You're in a relationship with a person. So you should take care and look after that person accordingly. And as any relationship, there's a natural wanting to be there for the person that you love. So this should be easy breezy. You know, you should want to be there for your partner no matter what. Make no mistake also that Sero-sorting relationships doesn't mean there won't be problems. I mean, like average, normal, everyday problems. You know, you're going to fight, you're going to argue, there's going to things that's going to happen. He left the toilet seat down, I don't know what the fuck. Just know that you should not let your disease dictate your relationship. That's the main thing about Sero-sorting that I really kind of want to get out. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a cool thing that people want to look for one of their own in that aspect. But don't discard people who, okay, if you're, I gotta say it like this. If you're positive and you find someone that's negative that likes you, don't discard their relationship just because you're scared and you have fear, and you both may have fear. Knowledge and education, science is for the win. You can always overcome that fear with caution and intelligence. And I don't think, and now for me, I don't think that anybody should deny love if you find the right person, no matter what the status is. But I think it is admirable that somebody doesn't want to spread the disease any further, so they go through this painstaking process of Sero-sorting. So, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's cool on both aspects. The lesson for the day is just don't let fear dictate what you want to do. You use a logical mind, and everything will usually work out in love. But it's kind of like an oxymoron, because love and logical usually don't go together, especially love and rational. Just be who you are, and that person will love you for that. As always, I'm the gay relationist. I hope I said something that really helps you out. And as always, peace the fuck out.